Psalm 127:3. Children are a heritage. Psalm 127:3. Children are a heritage from the Lord, offspring a reward from Him. This suggests children are a precious gift from God to be valued and cared for.
In the United States, a child a minute is taken in.
Psalm 127:3. Children are a heritage from the Lord, offspring a reward from Him. This suggests children are a precious gift from God to be valued and cared for.
In the United States, a child a minute is taken into DHS, CPS, and so on custody. The reality is their picks are already selected, you just don't know it. Being perfect no longer matters. It's what the adopting families are looking for.
Who is it stealing the children, you ask?
From caseworker to the White House, the buck stops at all levels, just not where it is supposed to be. The services your family needs. We, the people, have paid for to ensure your reunification. Title IV says, reunify at all costs. United, we stand means nothing to us when it comes to family value. Children are being ripped away from their families. Parents are reverting to addictive behaviors to cover the pain. The trauma caused by child removal is just being recognized, and the results are atrocious. Termination of parental rights is not healthy for anyone, just profitable for the people enforcing the line.
It's time Washington listens to the cries of our children, the wails of their mothers, and the rage growing in the fathers. These are our children. Keep your damn hands off them. We are coming to act on the behalf of the children God gave us to protect, and you kidnapped.
In the United States, CPS makes upwards of $3 billion per day on trafficking and selling our children. The corruption may start with the caseworker, but goes through the judicial system, passing the governor through the Senate and into the White House. The entire system has a hand in the business known as CPS.
Our children are stolen every minute of a 24-hour day. They are being robbed of their innocence, their trust, their happiness. As parents, we are isolated and betrayed by a government we trust. States are balancing budgets on kids' lives. Only 12% of the kids taken will be reunified. Title IV funding is being riveted with fraud.
We need to stop CPS and abolish CPS.com is leading the way. Join us.
No, right. Sorry about that. It was a little slow off the take there, but welcome back to this week. It is Monday, April 1st, April Fool's Day, and unfortunately, there is no fools on us on this day. The only fools are these caseworkers that are sitting here thinking that it's okay to take our kids. Now, we all see what's going on here, right? The media has a hold of this. I mean, we have big name stars that are supposed to be right next to us, right there, being the icons of our kids to be following. Good evening, Aaron Carranza. How are you? Thanks for joining us. We've got we've got icons out there that are just breaking rules. We're finding out more and more and more about their sex scandals. And we're not talking about one person, we're talking about many people, which leads to tell me that this is not just a little thing, right? This is our icons in Hollywood that are leading this charge. These are the people that we grew up with. These are the people that we put in charge of our children when we're not home, that are in front of the televisions. I mean, think about it. And we put Disney cartoons on, which we think are just going to be, hey, everybody, this is just a Disney cartoon. But what does every one of those cartoons start with? They start with a parent dying, right? Think about that. Every Disney movie you watch, a child has lost one of their family, one of their adults in their family, whether it's Cinderella, her dad, whether it's Bambi, his dad. Actually, more now that I'm just even saying this, it's mostly the fathers that are losing their lives. But they do this so that they are desensitizing the kids to losing a parent. And if you're going to think that the government doesn't have a hand in what we watch on TV, well, you've got another thing coming to you, because this many TV stars aren't getting fingers pointed at them by the government not putting their selves in the TV. They are trying to do this on purpose, people. They are stealing our children for no reason. They're not letting, no matter how hard you work as a parent, as a grandparent, as an uncle, as a sister, even as a brother or sister, trying to get their family members back in their home, they're not allowing us to do this. This country has a 12% reunification rate. The 12% reunification rate that's based off of funding that is for reunification. Every bit of Title IV says, hey, reunification is what we do to pay you money. But there are so many of us out there that have tried so hard, triumphantly bounced back and forth, lost jobs, lost all kinds of things, trying to abide by the parameters that they've set for us to get our kids back, and we still don't get our kids back. This is a big problem, people, and it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it has infiltrated your life in more ways than you know. Once you open your eyes and you start to look around and you see, you're going to understand that this just isn't because you were a bad parent, because chances are good you weren't a bad parent at all. Chances are good the government just got a hold of your child, and they're not going to let it go until we expose this thing through the roof, until we figure out a way that all of us can come together and break these chains and stop these people from stealing our children. And there are people out there that work their asses off every day, day in and day out, to fight against CPS and to fight against them stealing our children. As a matter of fact, one of the ladies that are watching us right now, Aaron Carranza, she runs a reunification program. It's impeccable, and she's winning, and she's doing it right. She's figured out how to do this. You guys can get a hold of her. Bet she can put her information up here in the chat for you guys so that you can get a hold of her reunification program, because she's figured out a way to get the children home. She's one person. She's only capable of doing so much. But she's damn good at what she's done, and she's figured out how to do it. Here's the other problem, is that this isn't just a United States thing. Tonight, as you know, it's Josee Monday. This problem has infiltrated into Canada, and it's been there for a long time. So this thing isn't just here in the United States. We are running rampant through every state. So all of this being said, let me bring in my co-hosts. I've got Josee here from Canada, and we also have Melissa here. Let's find out what Josie's got going on, because I know she had court.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Okay. Let's see what you ladies have to say tonight. Ladies, how are we doing? Do I have you all? Josee, am I hearing you?
I hear you.
Okay, I don't know if I can not hear you. Hold on a minute. It might just be me. Why is this going?
Well, can you hear me? I'm here.
I hear you.
Go ahead, Josee.
Can you hear
I'm
me?
pretty sure that this is just me, so go ahead and say what you got to say.
Me?
Darren, can you hear me?
Is it just me? Go ahead and say something, Josee. I'm sorry to break this up. Let me hear. Let me see.
Hi, can you hear
I
me?
think this may just be a technical problem on my side, but let's see.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
All right, I can see
Testing
this
one, two,
coming through.
three.
So yeah, Josee, go ahead and say what you have to say. Melissa, if you can handle Josee for a second while I figure this out, if she has any questions to answer or whatever. But go ahead, Josee. The floor is yours. I'm going to figure this technical problem out.
All right, Melissa, can you hear me?
Of course.
Okay, good. All right, so my court date is tomorrow, so that's what I'm working on right now. I have my book of proof of all my stuff. So tomorrow is the day that I go to court and hopefully charge CPS workers and the direction with child trafficking.
Hey, fingers crossed.
Yeah, I'm pretty much ready for anything right now. Like, I don't know.
So what's the type of hearing you're going into tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow, so basically, I'm not a prosecutor or nothing, but basically, I made, like, here in Canada, what I did was, I finally found that there was a private complaint that you could do because nobody would look at my file, and then like,
Right.
while I was doing my investigation and trying to figure out, and I have a whole bunch of proof and stuff. I found out that there was a way that you could go to the courthouse and make a civilian arrest, basically. So
Okay,
I went
citizens
in.
arrest.
Pardon? Yeah. So I went in and I filled out the paperwork. I sent it to the two people in particular, and then I had my trial, my tomorrow. So basically, this is what I think, because no, it's never been going on. I don't know what's going on. It's like a brand new thing, and so what I go in as the prosecutor. I ask the judge to two people. I hand in my evidence, blah blah, and then we'll just start with the criminal charges.
Okay, that's cool.
But yeah, I don't know. Like, I have no clue. But I mean, so I'm charging them. I'll give you an example. Hopefully, with child trafficking, coercion, and what's the other one? Obstruction of justice.
Have you read through the statutes on all of those very carefully to make sure that you're meeting all of your burdens of proof?
Yeah.
Yeah, because, like in family court, you only need, reasonable doubt to throw everything else out. In a criminal standard, it's definitely a little bit of a higher standard.
Yeah, I read it all. I have all my proof. That's why, like, I wouldn't be going there if I didn't have 100% proof, right? So I got all my proof it up. I like second checked it. I asked ChatGPT if something like this would be like blah blah blah. I tried to ask people, is this the right charge? Does this make sense? Because the weird thing too, like, I speak French, but I don't read it very well, because right. So I'm doing this in French, which is not necessarily my mother.
Right.
So it makes it a little bit more.
Hey, Aaron, would you like to come on as a guest on the show tonight? We can send you a link. Hey, Aaron.
All right. So, guys, I'm back. I can hear myself. I can hear you guys. That was awesome. Josee, I'm psyched about that. And yes, Aaron, Melissa's absolutely right. If you'd like to come in and talk some reunification stuff, that would be really cool. But so from that point, Josee, what do you know about Canada and where money comes from and what's going on up there in that service? Like we know in the United States we get Title IV funding, we know all of this, but what are they going on? What do they have going on in Canada that you know about that we can kind of examine and say, wow, that's what they I know that it's very closely tied to what's going on here in the United States. Um, but like I know that there are some projects that have gone on between the United States and Canada, but what does Canada have that's relevant to the United States? Like, what do we have that's hand in hand? Do you know any of that? Like, what do we have like for bills? Like Title IV funding, American Safe Families Act, all of that stuff. Do you know what Canada has in any of those?
But what's weird, I don't know if it's the same thing in the United here in Canada. Like every province, which you guys have, is all different. So they're all run differently. It's not, they're not the same. Like I said, Quebec is the CPS is own government, but in Canada, we're the only province that's CPS government, while other provinces they're all privately run.
Okay, so each province has their own type of scenario going on. They have their own system. There's no like general one type thing. So it's kind of very similar then.
Darren, yeah, I was gonna say they run their province like we run our states. See,
Right.
Yeah.
in the United States, every state CPS is a little bit different. We have a big
Right.
one at the government level, but then we have all these privatized corporations that, well, just like going around stealing kids for profit.
Right. And that's I would like to I'm looking up right now what the numbers are there in Canada as well, because there's research that I guess there's a $23 billion payout that they just did recently in Ottawa, I read, for the Native Americans. It's the biggest federal payout that's ever been done. What was that? Is that going towards the Native Americans? Is that what I read that was for the
Yeah, the Native Americans, because they guys that birth alerts and stuff was unconstitutional, that illegal, and now what I heard was the Native Americans asked to have it, so they are going to deal with them they're going to have CPS. Is it going to be better?
Okay.
Or is it going to be worse? I don't know. To manage themselves, they don't want us to be like the white manage the Native Americans. So how many years is that going to be? I don't know. I know that in that big lawsuit, Quebec, like, it's still in Superior Court, while the said yes. Mm-hmm. So it's still a battle.
Still a battle, but it's a good start, right? Like that's a good start for them. So they're essentially hopefully saying Native Americans, we're going to leave you alone.
Going to be running. You'll still have like the mafia. Yeah, those people who are going to, I don't know if it's necessarily going to be good. I'm happy that they're getting a payout. I think like the whole CPS system should just be reformed completely. Good it is, because we know there's bad apples in every group, right?
Right.
So is it?
And it should be
be the greedy snatch the kids away from the Native Americans now? Like I don't know. I'm iffy. I just don't. I just think it takes a village to I don't know. I think it's almost like segregation again. Oh, you guys are going to have your own. Aren't we past that?
Well, here in the U.S., the Native American actually has a level of protection that everyone else don't, because once it's deemed that you have Native American heritage, it falls to their own CPS workers within the tribal nation on the DOS rolls to handle it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been
But
that way here for a very long time.
okay, well, my question to you, are you still getting complaints about that or no?
Well, the complaints that they get is that CPS is still bothering them, and they're still
Yeah.
acting out of their jurisdictions. Because see, it's like what they do to them is the Native Americans have a very strict policy on how they're to be and how they're supposed to act and intermingle with one another, and they have very strict policy on especially reproducing because they want to keep that Native American blood 100. Like they don't want to lose that 100% Native
Well, but
American.
more than
So
that, like
they
my family is a lot of Native American, okay?
Right.
And
But
they
that's
can
the point,
they
Melissa.
can
That's the
prove
point.
it, but
Right, but that's
because
the point.
I
They
do
don't want a
not
lot of
carry
they
the
don't want
card.
they don't want people carrying the card. They want 100% Native Americans. So when they take the Native Americans out of their reservations and out of their properties and this stuff, and they force them to commingle and cohabitat, now they're breeding the Native Americans down. So now they're getting less and less and less of pure Native Americans to the point that people in the United States are chasing 8 and 10%. They want to be sure that they can still have 100% Native American blood. And this is totally the plan, is to completely bleed them out. So as long as CPS still has a hand in removing their children and placing them amongst white families, their chances of keeping themselves as 100% race is dissipating. Like that's the whole argument behind ICWA. It's not that they're special and deserve something special. It's the fact that they need to stay strong amongst themselves to be able to maintain that strong Native American. Because I mean, how many generations is it if you remove 100% Native American person from their tribe and put them out into the white sector, and then they breed one time? That brings it down to 50%, right? And so what is that, 2 or 3 generations before they would breed out a Native American if they didn't stay within that? Like that's the whole thing, is protecting these people and allowing them to keep that heritage. I mean, that's the important part.
Yeah, but
You know,
Darren, where CPS is screwing with the Native Americans, okay, I have provable tribal heritage. I have tribal registration within my family.
Mhm.
Okay, as soon as my kids went into care, they was supposed to do a heritage research form
Right.
and verify what tribe, what location, where, what, when, and then they're supposed to ask for permission to screw with my family.
Right.
They've never
No,
done a
understood.
tribal research form.
Right.
They write me white on all the forms.
Mm-hmm. That I
Um,
agree 100%.
just like the worker told me, I had an ISP meeting last week. Worker told me that she only last week submitted for ICPC to see about placing my kid with family. Okay, 2 years and you only just now submitted it?
Right. No, see, I understand all of that stuff. I definitely do. I get it. But my point is right, and it's to protect people like you that do have Native American blood in you, whether you're Canada or whether you're United States. It is to protect you guys because it's not trying. They don't want to dissipate anymore because they, like I just said, you will breed out the Native Americans if they continue to remove them from their tribes. And then like you, Melissa, like if they continue to force you to be dominantly white opposed to upholding your Native American traditions and being with people of other Native American tradition, so the
Well,
chances of you
so
revolving in
with
there.
the Equa registration, as long as my parents were registered, then
Right.
I can register. As
Right.
long as I'm registered, my kids can register. And
Mhm.
it's all the
Right.
way down to, I think, 5%.
Right, but exactly, this is my point. So how many more times without any other thing going with a white person can your family do that? That's the thing. It's like, how much percentage is it going to be until
Heck,
your
you know how many
percentage is
white
spread out?
people born at the hospital on a tribal reservation, their kids get registered automatically because they're born in a tribal hospital and they ain't the least bit
Right.
Native American.
Well, I don't know anything about how that works, because I know that ICWA is pretty strict on how they get the standards. So I don't know how that. Maybe because they're born on a tribal land. I don't know. I don't have any knowledge
Yeah.
on that. But I'm just saying, like, that's the thing behind these guidelines is trying to protect themselves, and to protect the heritage. That's what it's based on. So, and they're right. Like the CPS, leave them alone. I mean, this is, I don't know at what level it becomes maybe into well, because I don't even want to get into this term, but like at what level does it become a political issue that why do they get special? But I don't think anybody has an argument on either this continent or not in this continent, on this side of this continent, nor on Jody's, that the Native Americans deserve to be able to be preserved, seeing how we came here and pretty much stole their properties from them. So we have no problem with preserving their heritage or their bloodlines. I don't think anybody should have that problem. But as long as CPS keeps being allowed to reach their hand in there and pull these kids away, forcing them to adapt outside of their world, then we're just only a matter of 2 or 3 generations before we have no more Native American heritage, and that would be a damn travesty. That's for sure.
Well, and
So
I think that's why they hand down the native registration.
mhm,
More than the bloodline, it is the heritage of how you're raised.
right.
You know,
And the
you're
more you
handing
can have a
down a way of
registry,
life.
right, and the more you can have a registry, and the more you can have more people involved, the more way you can bring awareness, the more way you can bring education, the more you can do all of these things by doing what they're doing. They're smart.
But you know that they treat a person, because she was talking about the birth registry and how the natives went after the department for, pretty much a violation of their rights for that birth registration. If you
Right.
think about it, it's kind of a good argument because your medical records are sealed. Okay, I get mandated reporter and all that BS.
Mhm.
But really, who gives them the authority with no provable harm in the hospital to randomly call CPS? So I get that, you know,
Mhm.
that birthright violation.
Mhm. And it's even more unfortunate is like Josie, her granddaughter. I mean, Josie, does your grandbaby have any sort of Native American blood in them? I mean, do you even know this? Like, you haven't even had the opportunity to explore that, right?
Right. Mhm. Like this is something that people don't know about me. My dad was okay. So my dad was adopted in the 60s,
Mhm.
which was 60s scoop. Is my dad Native? We don't know. My dad was adopted. He was family. Okay. He
Mhm.
doesn't know. He was like he 7 years old when he got adopted from the orphanage. But my
Right.
dad doesn't who he was, blah blah. He's for my dad. He's like that took well care of me, blah blah. Those are my parents, so I have to
Mhm.
respect that. So I don't know
Mhm.
if my dad might be Native or not. I'm not going to God's wishes to like do
Right.
something, right? So we'll never. And so, but I mean, but in a way, I would feel bad being like, oh well, treatment because I've been never been Native. Like
Right. You've
I've
never
always
been
been
introduced to that
interested, but
life.
I don't. I'm more Catholic, right? Because that's how my traditions are, right? But I mean, yeah.
Right.
So
But to be able to see, this is the other unfortunate part with what's going on with the way that they're adopting these kids, is that they're completely taking away family heritage. They're completely
yeah,
removing that. They don't
yeah,
know, these children don't know where they're from. They don't know what, their lineage is from their family. So not only do they not know the lineage, but they're also not knowing what health issues are at hand here. You don't know if you come from a family with cancer, with heart conditions, with mental disorders. None of this stuff. You have none of this information to protect yourself, and that's another disturbing part of this whole thing where CPS swoops in and gets the children from you, and you don't know what is behind this. It's just, you don't know for yourself. You can't protect yourself as a grown person or as a child because you don't know. You just don't know where to even look to begin. What is your history? You know, where do you need to be cautious? Should you be careful about certain diet? Should you know, like, that's really an unfair strike against a child that's been put in the system. So not only do they feel the effects of being stripped away from their family, they're lost, they don't have their mom and dad, they don't know what it, but they don't even know who the hell they really are.
Well,
They're
and over
whoever
and
someone
above
told them.
that, even if the person was 100% Native American, let's just for say, you like dark hair, dark straight hair, darker olive skin, like true tellable Native American, okay? And CPS terminates the parents' rights and doesn't even give Equa the time of day.
Mhm.
Okay, now that kid can never register, neither can any of his family.
What do you mean register as far as in the what?
In the tribal nation. He can't.
Oh, okay.
He will not qualify for the DOS rolls unless he can submit his parents' paperwork. Well, now if you terminate his rights and adopt him, now he's legally owned by someone else.
Right. I see.
That's
So if
that's
there's
why the rest of my family's registered and I'm not.
right.
Even though I was adopted by my own family, but because of adoption,
Mhm.
now I don't qualify for registration.
Oh, that's terrible. That's absolutely terrible. It's not right to your kids. It's not right to you. I mean, that's just, you haven't even been given the opportunity to pick or choose what lineage you'd like to follow or be concerned about or learn about or whatever. That's just, it's just terrible. It really is. So basically, we're getting at, there's nothing good that comes out of the way CPS is doing what they're doing. I mean, in reality, if there's one person that's listening right now or watching this, put one thing in this chat right here that says what CPS does is good. And maybe we'll throw you guys a t-shirt or something. But I've never I can't, if you think about a list of things, despite the easy, generic answer of some kids really do need help, because yes, they do. There are kids that need help. And you know what? Chances are good CPS isn't there helping them because they don't want damaged goods. That's just the facts of the matter too. I know it seems harsh, but it's the reality of the situation. We see it time and time and time again. What they want is young, healthy babies like Josie's that come from a good family, like Melissa's that come from a good, solid background, that they know have no health issues, that's a family. And if I were to tell you this, if I were to tell you that the children between the ages of 1 and 8 have been proven, it has been proven that the children between 1 and 8 that have been sexually abused will be guaranteed to have a split personality. That's a statistic done and from our government. That's the stats that they have right now. That if you're a child between 1 and 8, whether obviously it'd be a forced situation or whatever, but if you've been sexually abused between 1 and 8, you have a really high chance or a really high risk of having a split personality. They're testing to see what the mental stability is and all of these things. You can look up this stuff online yourself. Like I always say, check out whatever we say online. It's another avenue about what's going on with this entire program of CPS and how it's tying into things. But that just leads into the whole, now here makes sense about why they're coming out with this, the transgender things, right? Because now most of these children between the ages of 1 and 8, they've been sexually abused, whether from their own home or whether in the system. And the bulk of these kids are being abused physically and mentally once they get into the foster care system. That's facts. Like, that's what's going on. These kids aren't abused when, Josie's granddaughter wasn't abused when she left them. The kid was a perfect little baby. She had no flaws. She had nothing. So where did her daughter go and her granddaughter go? And what is going to be the situation when the granddaughter comes home? Unfortunately, same thing with Melissa, same thing with me. Like, what are the conditions of our children when they come home? Because we don't know, one, what's been said on that side. Two,
Well,
the trauma that they've endured when they were removed in itself speaks volumes.
But do you want to know what they did? So normally my daughter gets to see her daughter every. Okay, so Thursday is the day that we get to see Kaylee, right?
Yeah.
For this month of April, how funny is it that they made
What? Oh, they did it.
So tomorrow Naomi has her daughter, right? So
Yeah.
purposely made it so that she wouldn't come to court with me, right? But
Oh
we
my
come to court
gosh, that's right.
with the baby. And I'm like,
Mhm.
perfect, fine. So or with the baby, my two daughters. There you go. Like
Wow.
they are. You know, she always has her on Thursdays, and then this month, court
Right.
cases on Tuesday, they make her have her meetings on Tuesday. Is following the routine of this child? Is this putting the child's needs? And no,
Right.
they just manipulate it, and they're like, well, no, this month you're having it on Tuesday.
And
Just
if you guys change that visit, that's detrimental to the baby. I can't believe you're acting like this. It's irresponsible parenting.
exactly.
We're going to put that in a note. We're going to do this stuff. But because they can do it to fit their needs, to make sure that they're not with you at court, it's fine. It's fine.
It's okay. I'll take the baby as a badge, and I'll be the
I
prosecutor
really hope.
with her in my
I
arms.
still hope. I really, really hope tomorrow is going to be awesome. I hope that it's in a big victory. Like, I hope that I get a message from you that's just exploding hearts and all of these things, or I see your TikTok first or something that says, you know, I that you won this thing. I mean, because tomorrow that could happen, right?
For anything. I'm ready for them to like handcuff me right there to go to jail. If I text you saying Jose's in jail, then you better help me.
Josee, you know darn well we'll do everything we can. We'll get you out of there. But not that we're condoning you going to jail, but you know, if you have to go to jail for a good reason, you go to jail, Josee. Oh man. I mean, do you see anything blocking you tomorrow for winning?
I told my husband, I was like, did I do anything illegal? He's like, no. What are they gonna do? The only thing they can do is we're not taking. Then I'll just go to Supreme Court. Like, I mean, right. I figured it's gonna be the years. It's gonna happen. It's gonna be the same judge, and they're gonna say conflict of interest, or I'm sure something's gonna fuck up tomorrow. But I'm ready.
I'm so excited for you. I mean, it's like just like how I felt last week or 2 weeks ago when Melissa went. I'm like, it's like being ready for a Rocky Balboa show. You know what I mean? You're like, holy crap, what's it going to be? And then it was just a big letdown. And Melissa was like, yep, screwing with me again. You know, because now it's just more of a waiting game. But Melissa, you're coming right up too, are you not?
Yeah, my court's on the 18th.
All right, so you're just you're downstream too. So man, it's just, do you I mean, what I don't even know. I don't want to jinx anything, and I don't want to talk a lot about
like when I go to court, when I go to court, it's going to be we get to make constitutional arguments. So we're going in there to holler violation of due process. But I was thinking about something earlier. Is it sad that they treat the families involved with CPS worse than they treat sexual predators?
Yes, the answer to that question is yes.
A child rapist can go have a kid and he's not a birth match.
Wow.
But yet,
really?
Yeah. But yet a parent who has been accused of, if you live in the state of Michigan, spanking their child, you're going to be a birth match and they're going to come in and take your kid from the hospital. Tell me that ain't some crazy shit.
That is true. What is the, like, Josee, you talk about it a lot too. What is the stipulations to get one of these birth matches that they say? Like, what has to happen for the criteria to meet? How does this whole thing work? How can
First,
parents
you
look
have
at
to
this?
live in a state. You have to live in a state that does it. Now, Alabama is not a birth match state, but Michigan is. So's Texas. And you can Google whether your state is or is not a birth match state. Darren, I believe your state is because you have DHS.
Right, right.
And
Yeah, I've never looked into that.
what it is if you've ever been found to pose a risk of harm, you've ever had a substantiated case, at the point you have a child, they automatically run your social security number through this database, and if you have been confirmed, then they immediately, the social worker from the hospital calls the department and says, hey, we have a confirmed birth match, come give them help. And that's what they do.
No, what about Canada, Josie? Because I know your daughter didn't have any sort of previous interactions with CPS other than with the Olio, right? Olo was it? Just getting assistance for like milk and
Well,
cereal, right? That was it.
She was in CPS as a teenager.
Oh, okay, all right. So then that would fit what like Melissa was just saying. If you had interactions, but no, because she wasn't saying nobody was substantiated, right? Like there was no
No,
right?
hers, I think hers was someone with just a hard on for her.
Yeah, something along those lines. That's
For
the
my
way I see it.
husband.
They were running short on kids for the week.
Yeah.
That's so bad.
Well, if a cop has to meet a quota writing tickets, I'm assuming CPS probably has the same.
I'm sure that they all get I'm sure, well, I know for a fact if you listen to Malibu Dallas, which you know what, let me bring that clip up here in a second. If you listen to him, he'll tell you exactly that they do get a bonus. You know what? Hold on. Let's bring Herbert's here. Let's bring Herbert in and say hi to Herbert, everyone.
Yeah, listen,
Hi, Herbert.
Melissa. Hi. Hi, Melissa.
What?
True but not true. It's not so much quota. You got lazy cops that sit around for 12 hours and don't really do much of anything. So they're sergeants
Until
and
everyone
lieutenants.
gets their social security checks. And then they're out to write speeding tickets out the ass. Yeah, if you actually look in most cities, counties, and everything, nowadays, more tickets are wrote in the first week of the month than there is throughout the rest of the month.
There's no quotas like that. You have cops that are not doing anything. All right, they're not producing stuff like we got. Okay, you have a highway where people are flying and speeding and there's accidents and there's been no tickets written on the highway. So now they're going to get on a cop's case and say, well, why aren't there any kind of control? Or why aren't you writing tickets out there? You see, that's what happens. It's not like, hey, everybody, I expect you to come in with 20 tickets. Now, in small town USA, like where you live, yeah, maybe they got quota. But in big cities and places, there's no quotas.
Here, as long as you ain't killing someone, they ain't pulling you over. Now, in Michigan, they will straightforward tell you that they have a certain amount of tickets that they have to write every month. And they typically aim it around the time that people get paid.
Who tells you that? Who tells you that?
I was told that by a Wayne County Sheriff's Department. I was told that by Taylor Police Department. I was told that by a lot of police departments in Michigan because I'm Michigan born and raised. Michigan's really big about their quotas.
I'll get back to you on that. I will speak to Michigan because I don't believe it. I will speak to Michigan about quotas. I do know that they have lazy cops that are not doing nothing but making their money sitting around, driving around, and sitting around firehouses. And so they're commanding officers.
And that's why they have quotas in Michigan, is to force them to do their job.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's not a quota. It's for those cops that aren't really doing their jobs, they get on their case. But the cop that's out there that writes a ticket when he sees a violation or whatever, nobody bothers him. It's the ones that come in for a whole month. Oh, you only wrote 2 tickets? You got to be kidding me. With those cars going past stop signs and everything else? So I'll get back to you. I'm going to talk to Michigan. I'll talk to Michigan.
Well, I would like to also, since we're talking about this, and I'm looking for what this one that Malibu Dallas, I just saw it the other day. He was talking about the bonuses that they get, and I guess there's a bonus when you sign that safety plan for the first time. The first time they go out, that you get, those caseworkers get a bonus for that. So I'd almost think it would be the same thing as if they get your baby in the first time, like they go out, they get those children, like with no hesitation. There's bonuses, because there are people that argue and say that no, they don't get bonuses. Bullcrap. Title IV funding. I mean, the American Safe Families Act clearly states that if they adopt a child out within a 12-month period of time and go through and do all the things they're supposed to do, they get a bonus. So there's no way that you're going to tell me that there's not.
I've seen that too. Like this is my husband, because he used to work there. I said, because there was like a thing saying that social work $10,000 a year. That was their salary.
Mm-hmm.
And then my husband's like, no, it's not. It's not. And I'm like, well, maybe that's what you think. But with the bonuses, he's like, they don't make bonuses, just don't tell you. But I've heard from another social worker that she would get ahead if it was an emergency. If it was an emergency placement, $100 a bonus for each child. And then if they get it into 5,000. But like, this is hearsay. I don't have confirmation, but this is what they say. So $900 ahead for an emergency placement. Like if they have to leave night from their home and go get a child, they get a bonus. And then 5,000 if they adopt into the adoption.
Wow.
Is that true? Is that not true?
Well, I know in Maine that they also get certain amount of, I know that they passed into law something about not drug addicted children, but children that come from drug problems at the homes with drugs, of some sort of problem, that they too get a additional sum of money for getting the children into a home and getting them adopted, just because of the fentanyl crisis and everything. So, I mean, there's bonuses. People that want to argue that there's bonuses or no bonuses out there, they're full of malarkey. I mean, they are all getting money and bonuses for things.
Okay. Now, what you're saying about CPS, I have no skin in that game. I can't comment either way. You see?
No.
So if you say that's true, then fine, that's true. But when it comes to law enforcement, where I was telling Melissa that they wait to the end of the month and they do this and that, here, maybe in small town USA.
Right, but that's been said since the beginning of time. You can always tell when everybody's getting their checks because the police are pulling you over. Or it's been like, hey, they got to get their quotas for their steak knives. It's the end of the month. That's why you see cops pulling people over. Like
something came. All right, I'll give you an example. You've heard of high-speed chases, okay? They don't really do that anymore because too many innocent people have gotten killed. We used to have high-speed chases. We'll stay with that person. Now we cut the high-speed chase. We got helicopters in the sky. We got drones in the sky. We can find that person.
Right. So,
see?
No, yeah, no, absolutely. I understand that. I'm just saying it's not short. It's not short to say that there's not crookedness and there's not those things going on in the world.
There is crookedness, and I'm going to say with that crookedness, I'm more like small cities, small places, because there's been too many lawsuits. That's the reason why cops carry cameras on their chests.
Right. That's not short of. You're absolutely right. That's that's definitely not short of being maybe in the olden days when those things were going down. It was a lot easier. So I don't know if this is the one. I don't know if this is one with Malibu Dallas on it or not, but let's see about this. This is one that he does about CPS compliance. If you guys don't know who Malibu Dallas is, definitely need to check this out. Malibu Dallas on TikTok. I mean, he's amazing, dude. He's a friend of all of ours here, and you should definitely check out his stuff. But here's one of his TikToks. I don't know if it'll say it about this, but I know it's along the lines, if I can make this thing play. I know it'll there we go. Oh, I probably should mute it somehow here. Yep.
You need to remember. Make the plan, execute the plan, expect the plan to go off the rails, throw away the plan. Doesn't matter. There are only 4 rules you need to remember. Make the plan, execute. Doesn't matter. There are only 4 rules you need to remember. Make the plan, execute the plan, expect the plan to go off the rails, throw away the plan. Doesn't matter.
No, that's not the one I was hoping it was. Let's see here.
Hi. Hey, I got a question.
Let's see if it's,
you guys, what Child Protective Services doesn't want you to know. You guys, this is a Child Protective Service manual out of the state of Florida. We're going to start by reading this little paragraph here. This operating procedure describes procedures of conducting child protective investigations in the state of Florida. Procedural requirements necessary for the comprehensive assessment and determination of a child's safety and are covered in depth. Well, let's see what they have covered in depth. We're going to go all the way down to page 48, okay? All the way down to page 48 where they talk about drug assessment or substance abuse, okay? Substance abuse. Let's take a look down here. We're going to scroll back down a little bit right here. For individuals in recovery who deny active use, exploring the patterns of behaviors typically indicative of pending relapse include, but not limited to, dishonesty, irresponsibility, depression, anxiety, sleeplessness, unreasonable resentments, isolation from others. But let's take a look at this one. Number F. A pattern of non-compliance. If a safety plan or if a safety case, well, I can't read. If a safety or case plan is not in place. You guys, what's the main word here? Compliant. What have I been telling you guys from day one? There is no state law in any state that says you are in demand to have to cooperate or do compliance of CPS investigation. Now look at this. They have it in brackets. If a safety or case plan is in place. Only if a safety or case plan is in place. You guys might be asking yourself, why is that in brackets? Well, that's because even CPS knows if they can get you on a safety or case plan, then they can get you under contract. If you are under contract, you have given CPS jurisdiction. And if you're under jurisdiction, you are under compliance. And then they can get you in court for non-compliance. This is why I tell you to never sign anything with CPS. You guys never let a CPS agent in your home without a warrant. You guys with Child Protective Services.
I thought that might have been the one, but it wasn't.
You guys, the time.
Hey, Josee, do you know this guy?
Yeah, Dallas. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
I follow him. Yeah.
All right. Well, we got to get you. In touch with him.
You guys. So yesterday.
Let me see. I'm just gonna look for this.
You guys with Child Protective.
Yeah, my brother's rebel. And I waive the benefit.
Let's see here.
You guys buckle up because today I'm going to be dropping some knowledge on your ass. In 3, 2, 1. So the other day I made a video about a guy going to court over a traffic ticket and the judge committing a felony. You guys blew that freaking video up. Here, you can check it out. You guys, if you want to go take a look at that video, it is right there. It honestly amazes me how many people are in this country who have no clue what their actual rights are. And then you got morons like this. 10,000% wrong. Judge can make his own rules and you will go to jail. What? So this dude is saying that a judge can make up pretty much any rule he wants.
I'm sorry. I'm just going to try to flip one more because I know we're getting close.
You know, it blows my mind. You guys, there is nothing more satisfying to me than seeing a CPS case get closed because parents are taking the education that I'm giving them and taking the knowledge and putting it to use. Check this out, because I mean, this is what it's all about. So this wonderful lady is a member of my CPS Corruption group on Facebook, and she recently got my book, and she's just fantastic. She's taken the knowledge and putting it to use. You guys, I know the holidays are right around the corner, so I got 2 amazing deals for you. Check it out. So normally one of my video consultations is $53, and one of my phone call consultations is $45 for an hour. However, starting from November 1st all the way to January 1st, all my phone call consultations.
That's the one that you should definitely get in. And I was just trying to see the one where he said, where he had talked about the youth workers getting the bonuses. You know what they do. It's no secret, especially if they're babies. There's sorry about that. There's all kinds of things that show that they get bonuses for adopting, for babies, for children at a certain age. As a matter of fact, a friend of mine in another group the other day sent me a link to a place where they show there's a book out in California that you can actually get, and you can pick your child out from blonde hair to blue eyes to this, to that, to this. It's an actual book that they send out to adoptive parents. It's crazy. It's disgusting, but this is what they're doing. If you don't think that this is what they're doing, you're out of your mind. Guys, we're down to the last few minutes. That's a quick day today. It always is a quick day when Josee's here. It's so fast. Josee, do you have anything last you want to get out before you go to court and all of that good stuff? Because we're going to be hearing from you again this week anyway, right?
Vibes for morning,
yes.
9:30. Just send me positive vibes. That's all I need.
Yes, we will be doing that for you, Josee. I will make sure that we do that. I'm actually going to put out a TikTok tonight to make sure that people send you positive vibes. So you can give us some good news tomorrow. When we hear from you. What time is it again?
I have to be there at 9:30. Will it be all day?
9:30. All right.
Hey, will it be at 9:30? Who knows?
Right. Everybody out there, positive vibes for Josee by 9:30 a.m. Carrie, you said it right. Thank you, Carrie, for your support. Carrie says you got this, Josee. I'll put that up there. She's gonna let me get that. Where did you just see that?
And Josee, even if for some reason the judge kind of like tries to sweep it under the rug and dismiss it, just like if you was found guilty of something, you have the right to appeal it and re-argue it. Same thing goes as a prosecutor. You have the right to restructure your evidence and rebring the same charges.
No.
That's why, like, a lot of times, we'll hold like a grand jury thing to indict someone, even though they had been charged with it, they beat it, because the prosecutor wasn't prepared. So it'd get beaten. So what they'll do is they'll then turn around and use a grand jury, indict them, and then re-put the same charges against them, usually using the same exact evidence, just writing their paperwork a little fancier.
All right. Herbert, let's bring you back in here. You were doing the reverb thing again. Let's see, Herbert, you got any last words for Josee?
Yeah. Josee, I'm going to wish that all goes well and be thinking positive and looking forward to next Monday to hear the results of how things go. And like Melissa I told you to, in terms of appeal, you got the right to appeal and appeal and appeal.
But we're going to manifest. We don't need that right.
I'm sorry?
I said we're going to manifest. We don't need to use that right. We need first to just go in there and whoop their ass tomorrow.
Yeah, we want it to work, but I'm saying in the event it don't, follow what Melissa's saying, and that is appeal. Yeah,
that's right.
And for Melissa, I just want to say I will check into that, but I believe something came down in court where they stopped mandating that type of thing you're talking about. Back in the day, yes, quotas were definitely in place. but I think something happened, and they stopped pushing that. But I'm going to get back, and I can confirm to you that it's still happening, or no, it's not happening. But I'll check. If it's happening, I'll be the first to give you the skins and say, you're right, you're correct, Melissa, it's still happening, okay?
And Herbert, don't forget, keep an eye out for those CPS people getting bonuses as well. You can drum up about that.
Oh, no, the CPS people, I don't have skins in the game in that. If you say they are, I believe they are. If you say they are, I believe they are. If you say that. I have no skin in the game. As far as the law enforcement thing, I know something came down about that. Big time.
All right, guys. Well, thank you guys very much. And we'll see you all tomorrow. And we'll know about Josee and everything, so we'll let everybody know. But Josee, thanks for coming on with us. And we'll see you guys tomorrow and next week. Thank you. All right, guys. Well, I'm not even going to say much more than what Josee just said. Let's all pray for her. Let's all make sure that we have her in our thoughts tonight. She's going to go try to beat these people and get this baby back to her rightful mom and grandma and to the family. So please pray real hard for her. Carrie says to you, Josee, one last thing. Carrie says, calm gets it done. So make sure just breathe in, breathe out, Josee. You got this. Go get those kids and bring them home. I don't even want to say anything else. I just want Josee to get to that courtroom tomorrow and show these people. I'm CPS Furniture. I'm out of here. Good luck, Josee. Look at some ass.